Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Jack. Everybody's covering all the liberal tiers and all this stuff, and I'm sure you don't come here to watch for that type of stuff. So we're going to actually talk about the who Trump is appointing and or his cabinet in various positions. We're talking about the main ones. We're not going to do all the names that nobody's ever heard of or the positions that aren't as important. So I'm going to give you my conclusion first, in case you don't want to hear the list of names. Basically, there's some main trends here, right? If you're a Christian Zionist, will say you're happy with all the picks as far as their view on Israel goes. So there's no progress there. It was obvious that was going to be the case, and is not the election that's going to change anything there. So another trend line is the picks are much stronger than I would expect them to be. And they're the picks that you would pick if you're actually going to do things to make America great again. Like if you were actually going to do the stuff like drain the swamp, fix illegal immigration. These are the picks you would make. Whether they do it, still we'll wait and see. Another trend line is that a lot of the picks are very hawkish on China. Not war hawkish necessarily, but hawkish. And then that makes sense because of Trump's economic ambitions. So the United States is running about 25 trillion GDP, with China just under 15 trillion. So they got about 60% the size of our GDP. And then the next closest is Japan with 4.25. So they're three times, China's 3 times bigger than number 3, and we're, they're 60% as large as us. So I'm gonna look at these picks from 2 different angles, right? The macro, which is what I'm looking at for whether the picks are good for my country, my people, my countrymen, my communities, my state, on the macro level. But I'm also looking at this on the micro level. If you have children, it matters. Everything matters, and even a small increase is good. It's an increase. At least you're not going backwards. So let's just see what we got. So we're going to test out some new technology here, and we're going to go to the CBS website, and there's a list of Trump cabinet picks and more White House appointments so far. So this will be referenced in the description below, but you're going to see that the website will change because they're just adding a bunch of little articles on here, and so it'll change. By the time you look at it, it might not look exactly like I'm showing you on the screen. So let's just go over some of the important picks, okay? So White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, she was instrumental in getting him elected. I had never heard of her name before this. She's going to be, White House Chief of Staff. Okay. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Now, this is, I would say, the most establishment pick that he picks here is Marco Rubio, right? And he's moved from 2016 when he ran against Trump. He's moved more to Trump's ideology, but he's the most establishment guy, I would say. And even that being said, he got a 0 out of 100 for human rights voting based on like LGBTQ stuff and stuff like that. And so I do like people who this system says got a 0 out of 100 for human rights voting. They're probably voting for like families and stuff like that. Okay. He's been in the Foreign Relations Committee and all that. Okay. And he's a China hawk, like I said. Okay. So basically, Attorney General Matt Gaetz, this is very positive pick. If you want justice to be done in this country, it's very positive. Whether he can get through the process in the Senate is unlikely. He's already stepped out of his representative seat to take this, and if he doesn't get confirmed, the theory is that he will go with he'll get Marco Rubio's Senate seat because he will be confirmed as a kind of establishment guy, non-controversial. But this guy, if he gets in there, it'll be a very positive thing for just people who hate like election fraud and treason and stuff like that, And so he's got some problems though. Basically, they said he was with an underage teen, and then drug use. I have seen pictures of him where he looks like he's on drugs. Anyways, and so there's also this other theory that they tried to blackmail him on the sexual misconduct, and they wanted to get a Jewish American CIA person out of prison in Iran, and so they tried to blackmail with this sexual misconduct thing, and he just put it all in the light and said, "Nope, none of that." Okay, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. I'm just going to skip that one. Okay, this one right here, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., HHS Secretary, Health and Human Services. This is great, right? So I did an episode on on the FDA's poisoning our children. And my family has changed our entire eating habits in the last couple of months since doing that. I'll put a link to that below if you haven't seen. But so basically, I'll flip this. Basically, RFK Jr., I would not want him to be president of the United States. He's an insane Zionist. Like he's an insane person. But look at his views on health and human services stuff. I'll take it. I'll take it for the good of my country. I'll take it for the good of my family, because we're really watch everything we eat now. And it would be better if we didn't have to, and we could just trust that the stuff in stores kind of regulated pretty good, you know? And so anyways, I think that's a great pick. I would say he's the best person in the country for the job, for that particular job. I wouldn't want him to be president. Okay, so let's go continue on. Okay, Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Doug Collins. I'm just going to pass. UN Ambassador Elise Stefanik. Okay, so she says that 2020 was stolen. She's defines herself as ultra MAGA. She talks about the replacement theory being real, which obviously it is, because you could just go to you could just play clips of Democrats, you know, saying that they're replacing the white people. She's very anti-illegal immigration, but she's also the woman who ousted the Harvard president for not being pro-Israel enough. So she's good on everything except for Israel. And I have a clip. I chose not to put it in here. It's on my locals. I'll upload it right after I film this. But it's about her talking about how we should be stronger, fighting against anti-Semitism and all this stuff. Okay, so this requires Senate confirmation. Now, borders are Tom Homan. Okay, this is one if you're getting excited about stuff. This is the guy to get excited about, right? So he was acting director of ICE, like towards the end, I believe, of Trump's last administration, but they just needed somebody to fill in because somebody had left, like right as he was outgoing, I believe. And so this guy is such a hardliner on immigration. It's insane. Like, okay, I'm gonna play a clip for you right now of him on 60 Minutes. This is after Trump got elected. Him on 60 Minutes. Here it goes.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Okay, this is also the guy who had that clip. I'm not going to play it, but of AOC questioning him, and she's talking about separating families, and he does this thing where he's like, well, if I was pulled over for DUI, I get separated from my family. With kids in the car, I get separated from my family, you know, this and that. But just to port them together, I mean, come on, you know. Anyways, so this guy's like, this is what I was talking about at the beginning when I said, man, if Trump is really going to do the thing on illegal immigration, then this is the guy to pick. Here's a quote from him. I hear lots of people say, oh, that's not right. I hear lots of people say, you know, the talk of mass deportation is racist. It's threatening to the immigrant community. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. It should be threatening to the illegal immigrant community. But on the heels of a historic illegal immigration crisis, this has to be done. Okay, moving on. Defense Secretary Peter Hegseth. So this guy's a former Fox, you know, contributor. And I hadn't really heard about him before. He's this part's interesting. It's down here. He wrote this book, The War on Warriors: Behind the Betrayal of the Men Who Keep Us Free, which rails against what he calls the warped, woke, and caustic policies of our current military. Right. So I don't know what this guy's going to be like as far as pro-war or anti-getting into conflicts. Right. But I think he's going to be good for the military because, like, it's not even an option for my kids to join the military because it's just so messed up with all their woke nonsense. Okay. National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. I was used to saying the other one. Trump praises military record expertise on China, Russia, Iran, and global terrorism. Okay, he's a China hawk here. This is another one right here. He used to be a Green Beret. Okay, let's go. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Okay, so this is the lady that she's the South Dakota governor. She was the only one who never locked down her state, right? She was also the one who wrote the book No Going Back when she wanted to be Trump's vice president pick, right? And she falsely claimed she had met North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. I have no idea why she did that. And then she just wouldn't admit that it was a mistake when they questioned her about it. And she revealed that she shot and killed her 14-month-old dog Cricket after failures at training. Okay. So I feel like that book thing was not good, but I think that I'm pretty sure she'll do a good job. Secretary of Homeland Security, in line with getting the things done that we want done in illegal immigration, stuff like that. Okay, Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum. This is a very, this is one of the picks that's not extreme. Former North Dakota governor, ran against Trump. Kind of just no personality. Anyways, CIA Director John Ratcliffe. Now, this guy who was the Director of National Intelligence is now going to be the first person who heads both agencies in his lifetime. And I don't like anybody who is associated with this intelligence stuff except Tulsi Gabbard, Director of National Intelligence. Now, she does have a history that goes into some intelligence stuff, but it's I feel like I'm more likely to trust her to do the right thing than most of the people on this list. Okay. I mean, a lot of them I think are going to get things done, but I'm saying she's at the top as far as not screwing us over, Okay. So EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. So the parentheses mean that he's Jewish. This is the guy who he ran for the New York governor against Kathy Hochul, and he lost about 47-53, like pretty close in New York, And so I don't really know much about his politics. There's only 2 Jewish people on this entire list, which is much different than what it was like when Biden ran, right? So he's going to be the EPA administrator. U.S. Ambassador to Israel, love this one, Mike Huckabee, okay? Former governor of Arkansas. We know this guy's got a podcast stuff, right? Requires Senate confirmation. Okay, here's the quote on him. Be ready? Mike has been a great public servant, governor, and leader in faith for many years. He loves Israel and the people of Israel. And likewise, the people of Israel love him. Mike will work tirelessly to bring about peace in the Middle East. Well, it's not what Israel wants them to do. So the funny part about this is that I would like this to read, he loves America and the people of America. And the people of Israel don't like him very much because he loves America so much. It's just ridiculous. But I said it wasn't going to be good on the Zionism stuff, It reminds me of a story, and I've told it before, about I had some Uber driver. I was an Uber driver, and I had some gay Canadians in my car, and they were telling me that they hate Trump. This was back during, 2017, 18. And I said, why? He said, because Trump crushed the dairy cartels. I said, that's good for America, isn't it? They're like, oh, yeah, if I was American, I would love him. But as a Canadian, I hate him because he's working against our interests. That's what we want with every country around the world. But, okay, whatever. I said it wasn't going to be good on that part. Okay, so he was governor of Arkansas in 96 to 2007, and then went for president. Okay, Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, Elon Musk, and Vivek Ramaswamy. Basically, if you recall, Vivek said that if he was elected president, he would have, I think, 50% of the government employees cut within the first year and 75% cut within 3 years. So they're going to be a part of this government efficiency program. It is not going to be an actual department. They're going to work from outside the government to advise on how to cut, hopefully, everybody from the government. And then this is interesting, too. Their work will conclude no later than July 4th, 2026. So it's basically an 18-month assignment to cut government. So if they do it, it's not going to be a thing where it's going to drag out to the 3rd and 4th year, and you're going to be like, did they do anything? We're going to find out pretty quick, right? Okay, White House counsel William Ginley. Okay, they're going to need a lot of lawyers to fight all the legal battles that are going to try to tie up what they're doing. Okay, so Presidential Personnel Office, I don't know that guy, so I'm going to skip it. Sergio Gio. Assistants to the President and Deputy Chiefs of Staff, Dan Scavino from his first administration, from Trump's first administration. Stephen Miller, Jewish, James Blair, and Taylor Budowich. I don't know the last two, but Stephen Miller is the guy who runs the America First Legal. He's a Jewish guy, and he protected January 6th defendants, and I will say thank you for that. That's great. He's a super hardliner on, here he is here. He's a super hardliner on illegal immigration. Okay, so they're floating treasury names. We don't care about floating. I went on True Social right before this, which I just made an account today, to see if there's any updates right before I film this. I might have to film if you pick somebody over the weekend because it's Friday at 12:35 p.m. So, okay, not joining the administration. This is important, right? Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, 60, will not be, okay, the Defense Department, thank goodness, right? And then another one, Nikki Haley, is not going to be a part of the administration. And then not on here, but I saw it on Trump's True Social. He also said Jamie Dimon, the banker, he said he really appreciates his service to the country, but he's not going to be a part of the administration either. Okay. So, and then Trump's family members, it's unclear. We had the whole Jared Kushner debacle last time, and then we go down to the transition team. So that's basically it, That's where we're at today, as of Friday the 15th, And so basically, I just reiterate, it doesn't advance us anywhere on the Zionist stuff, right? They're angling towards China with the China hawks, not for war necessarily, right? And these are the picks that Trump would pick if he really wants to get the objectives done, I mean, the illegal immigration problem, if we're looking on the macro for our country, is just one of the biggest problems, because it'll change the nature of our entire country, which we do not want that at all. We want extreme change the opposite way, right? And by extreme, I don't mean lethal. But if any progress he makes is going to be wonderful. If he actually does this, he's going to get tied up in court for a while. So if he does, that's one thing, But if they get, I think they're ahead in the House right now. I put a thing up on my locals of them cheating in Wisconsin for a Senate seat. We'll see how it all lands, But if they have both House of Congress, then they could literally make the laws, But they could still challenge the laws and take them to the Supreme Court. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's what I got for you. Now, I want to do an episode. The next episode I'm going to do on Wednesday, it's going to be, we're going to look back at the Biden administration and their Jewish A-team from the Jerusalem Post. We're going to literally look at this article, and we're going to see how it's kind of another overrepresentation video, and we've already covered some of that in a previous video, but it's interesting to see how terrible it was in retrospect and how promising the Jerusalem Post promised us it would be way back then. I think that would be interesting. And on Thursday, I'm doing an entire episode on a comment from a viewer, and he really, over a page long, the comment, great ideas, and it's going to be about the past and final solution for the Jewish people. Anyways, that's what I got for you. Oh, one more thing. I want to say this too. I'm posting to locals a lot now, right? I just posted a whole 37-minute video. If you want to volunteer to do some video editing, it's not super hard. In 37 minutes, I ran down the whole process. That's over there. Everything on locals is free. You can subscribe or join or whatever you want to do, But I'm trying to put more content over there. There's a lot of stories that I come across that are really interesting, but they're just not going to make an entire episode with the format I do for the episodes, And so I'm just going to start posting all the stuff over there, like about them cheating in the Wisconsin Senate race. It's the exact same thing. It's the graph, and then the graph just shoots up at one time, right at the very end, and the Republicans lose. And I'm also going to post stuff over there like the Christy Nome video that I didn't put into this episode, but I found interesting and relevant. It's just a little too dry and long. So anyways, you can go view all that stuff over there for free. Anyways, that's what I got for you. Hope to see you Wednesday.